Communism. The word itself evokes a spectrum of emotions, from idealistic hope to chilling fear. For some, it represents the ultimate dream of equality and justice, while for others, it conjures images of oppression and totalitarian regimes. But what exactly is communism? How did this ideology come to be? And what does it truly stand for? At its core, communism is a political and economic ideology that advocates for a classless society where the means of production are owned collectively and wealth is distributed equally among all members. This means that factories, farms, and other enterprises are not owned by individuals or corporations, but by the community as a whole. It is a utopian vision, a societal blueprint promising a world free from exploitation, poverty, and inequality. The idea is to create a society where everyone works according to their ability and receives according to their needs, eliminating the vast disparities in wealth and power that characterize capitalist societies. However, the path from theory to reality is often fraught with complexities and contradictions. Implementing communist ideals has proven to be a monumental challenge, with many attempts resulting in unintended consequences and significant hardships. This essay delves into the origins and evolution of communism, examining its philosophical roots, key figures, and global impact. From Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels, who laid the theoretical foundations, to leaders like Lenin, Mao, and Castro, who sought to bring these ideas to life, we will trace the journey of communism through history. We will explore both the triumphs and tragedies that have marked its trajectory, analyzing its successes and failures in different parts of the world. From the Russian Revolution to the rise and fall of the Soviet Union, from the Cultural Revolution in China to the ongoing experiment in Cuba, the story of communism is one of both remarkable achievements and devastating setbacks. Finally, we will consider the relevance of communism in the 21st century. In a world grappling with issues like economic inequality, climate change, and social justice, does communism offer any solutions? Or has it been rendered obsolete by the march of history? Is it a relic of the past, consigned to the dustbin of history? Or does it retain a lingering appeal, a potent force waiting for the right moment to re-emerge? These are the questions we will seek to answer. Join us as we unravel the complexities of communism, seeking to understand its enduring legacy and its place in our world today. Through this exploration, we aim to shed light on an ideology that has shaped and continues to shape the course of human history. The roots of communism can be traced back to ancient times, with echoes of communal living and shared resources found in various societies throughout history. From the early hunter-gatherer tribes who shared their resources for survival, to the communal agricultural practices in ancient civilizations, the idea of collective ownership and mutual aid has always been a part of human society. However, it was in the 19th century, amidst the Industrial Revolution's tumultuous upheavals, that communism emerged as a coherent ideology. The rapid industrialization and urbanization brought about significant changes in the social and economic structures of the time, leading to new ways of thinking about society and governance. The Industrial Revolution's rapid technological advancements brought about unprecedented wealth creation, but also stark social inequalities. Factories and industries flourished, generating immense wealth for the factory owners and investors, while the workers toiled in harsh conditions for meager wages. The burgeoning capitalist system, while undoubtedly innovative, created a sharp divide between the factory owners, the bourgeoisie, and the working class, the proletariat. This divide was not just economic, but also social, as the working class faced long hours, unsafe working conditions, and little to no social mobility. This stark disparity, with its attendant poverty, suffering, and exploitation, provided fertile ground for the seeds of communism to take root. The working class, disillusioned by the promises of capitalism, began to seek alternatives that would offer them a fairer share of the wealth they helped create. Thinkers and activists, witnessing the plight of the working class, began to envision alternative systems that promised greater equality and justice. They sought to create a society where wealth and resources were distributed more equitably, and where the working class had a voice in the governance of their communities. Among these were early socialist thinkers like Henri de Saint-Simon and Robert Owen, who advocated for social reforms and cooperative communities as a means to ameliorate the excesses of capitalism. They proposed models of society where cooperation replaced competition, and where the well-being of all was prioritized over the profits of a few. These early socialist experiments, though ultimately unsuccessful, laid the groundwork for the development of communism as a revolutionary movement. Their ideas and efforts inspired future generations of activists and thinkers who continued to refine and expand upon their visions of a just and equitable society. No figure looms larger in the history of communism than Karl Marx. Born in 1818 in Prussia, Marx was a philosopher, economist, historian, sociologist, political theorist, journalist, and revolutionary socialist. His ideas, developed in collaboration with Friedrich Engels, would profoundly shape the course of the 20th century. Marx's magnum opus, Das Kapital, offered a scathing critique of capitalism, arguing that it was inherently exploitative and prone to crises. He believed that history was driven by class struggle, with capitalism representing just one stage in this historical dialectic. Marx predicted that capitalism would inevitably be overthrown by a socialist revolution led by the proletariat, the working class. This revolution would usher in a classless society, where the means of production would be owned collectively and the exploitation of labor would cease. Marx's ideas, later developed into a political ideology known as Marxism, resonated deeply with the growing working class across Europe and beyond. His writings provided a theoretical framework for understanding the inequalities of the capitalist system and a roadmap for revolutionary change. While Karl Marx provided the theoretical foundations for communism, his ideas remained largely theoretical and abstract, confined to the pages of his writings and the minds of his followers. It was Vladimir Lenin who transformed it from an abstract ideology into a political reality. Born Vladimir Ilyich Ulyanov in 1870, Lenin was deeply influenced by Marx's works and the socio-political environment of his time. Lenin was a Russian revolutionary, politician, and political theorist who would become the architect of the Soviet Union, the world's first socialist state. Lenin was a fervent admirer of Marx and believed that his theories provided the key to understanding and overcoming Russia's deep-seated social and economic problems. However, he also understood that the path to revolution in Russia would not be identical to the one Marx envisioned for industrialized Western Europe. Lenin recognized that Russia's specific historical and social conditions required a different approach to revolution. Unlike Marx, who saw the proletariat's uprising as a natural and inevitable outcome of capitalist exploitation, Lenin believed that the working class in Russia needed guidance and leadership to achieve a successful revolution. He saw the spontaneous uprisings and strikes as important but insufficient on their own. Lenin argued for a vanguard party of professional revolutionaries to lead the masses towards socialism. This party, guided by Marxist principles, would be disciplined, organized, and dedicated to the cause. It would act as the spearhead of the revolution, directing the energy of the masses towards a common goal. The vanguard party would educate and organize the working class, instilling in them the principles of Marxism and the necessity of overthrowing the existing order. This education was crucial for ensuring that the revolution would not only succeed, but also sustain itself in the long run. In 1917, Lenin's Bolshevik Party, capitalizing on the chaos of World War I and the weakness of the Tsarist regime, saw an opportunity to put their theories into practice. The war had devastated Russia, leading to widespread discontent and a power vacuum that the Bolsheviks were quick to fill. Led by Lenin, the Bolsheviks orchestrated a successful revolution in Russia. This momentous event marked the beginning of the Soviet experiment, a bold and unprecedented attempt to build a socialist state based on Marxist principles. The establishment of the Soviet Union was a monumental task that involved not just seizing power, but also restructuring society along socialist lines. It was the first attempt to build a socialist state based on Marxist principles, setting the stage for future socialist movements around the world.